As Christmas 1914 approaches, a cold and rainy Europe is in the throes of World War I, 1914 through 1918. The war, which pits the Allies, including Britain, France, Russia, and eventually the U.S., against the Central Powers, including Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Turkey, has grown out of its tensions building on the continent for years.
Near the French-German border, French and British troops are trying to prevent Germany from capturing more of France. Along the Western Front, the soldiers engage in brutal trench warfare.
The Western Front is more than 470 miles long, opposing armies crouched in parallel trenches that in some places are only 50 yards apart. Between them lies a no man's land of barbed wire and corpse. From the trenches, the soldiers try to fire on the enemy.
In one of the muddy trenches, exhausted British soldiers sit and await orders. I'm so tired of mud. It's been raining for weeks and we've been stuck down here. Just then, Captain William Boyd approaches with orders from High Command headquartered in London.
Men, we must attack. Another suicide one. Good luck.
Same to you.
30 British troops scramble out of their trenches. They dash across the no man's land, leaping over the barbed wire they had secretly cut through the night before. They hope their approach will be a surprise, but the Germans are ready. From the safety of their trenches, they shoot down the British troops. The journals are ordering these raids just to keep the men from getting bored.
Elsewhere on the front, a German soldier and philosophy student named Karl Aldag writes a letter to his parents. This life fills me with disgust. There are rats and lice everywhere.
We're about to attack. How can you write a letter?
I have to. I might not make it back.
Another night, Captain Boyd sends 2 soldiers into no man's land on a mission to gather information. They return as quietly as they left. Did you get it?
Sir, we heard them talking, but we couldn't understand what they were saying.
We heard coughing and laughing too. Why were they laughing? I don't know, sir, but they just sounded like us.
Meanwhile, on the German side.
Do you hear that?
Hear what?
The British are singing hymns. How beautiful.
You're too sentimental. This is war.
You can find beauty, even in war, if you pay attention.
As Christmas nears, men all along the Western Front reach out to the enemy in different ways. But at British headquarters, General Horace Smith-Dorrien is not happy. He issues new orders for the troops. Our men don't see the Germans as enemies. All is lost. Fraternization is officially prohibited.
Elsewhere along the front, a German captain is just unhappy with his soldiers' friendly behavior.
This is dangerous. We can't win if we turn our enemies into friends. Maybe they were never our enemies in the first place. The High Command on each side orders attacks leading up to Christmas. Thousands of men are killed or wounded, but days before the holidays, soldiers get gift boxes from home. Many German troops receive small pine trees with candles.
On Christmas Eve, it snows. The muddy ground freezes, making it easier for the men to move about in the trenches. And Captain Boyd receives another order from the High Command. Men, the enemy may be planning a Christmas attack.
Captain, look!
German soldiers are standing in no man's land with Christmas trees. They're singing Silent Night in German.
It's amazing.
British watch the Germans in awe.
Maybe a Christmas ceasefire is good after all. As Captain Boyd ventures into no man's land, behind him his men sing Silent Night in English.
Similar incidents are happening elsewhere along the front. This angers Captain Binding. We cannot have German soldiers singing with the British. Men at war should not celebrate Christmas together.
On Christmas morning, the men in the front waken to silence. No planes, machine gun fire, or explosions. They hear birds for the first time in months. On the German side, Aldag stands and looks across the no man's land.
What do you see?
A sign. It says Merry Christmas. Should we write back?
I have a better idea.
The soldier grabs his gift and walks slowly into no man's land. A British soldier joins him there. They exchange presents and shake hands, communicating as best as they can. Ceasefire takes place all along the Western Front, and men from opposing sides offer each other holiday greetings. But the sight of enemies making peace enrages Captain Binding.
Such a thing should never happen in wartime. Come on, Captain. It's Christmas. Have you no sense of honor?
But honor is very much on the men's mind as they stand in no man's land, surrounded by the bodies of their fallen comrades. They help each other bury the dead, holding services in both German and English.
Before returning to their trenches, the soldiers exchange food and souvenirs. Have you ever seen such a Christmas, Captain?
Never. Today's peace will probably bring hell tomorrow. I suspect, gentlemen, that we will feel it was worth it. When word of the Christmas truce gets back to the British general a few days later, he is furious.
I want the names of the units and officers who took part in this. They must be disciplined. Captain Binding conveys a similar message to his men on the German side.
My command directs that fraternization must stop. Officers allowing will be court materialed. It's time to fight.
Sir, they are good men. We can't shoot at them.
If you won't shoot the enemy, the officers will shoot you.
British soldiers also struggle with their orders.
I won't shoot at them. How can I? We exchanged Christmas gifts.
No one said we had to shoot at them. All along the front, soldiers have the same idea. They fire their weapons as ordered, but shoot them in the air so no one will get hurt. In some places, officers issue warnings before the shooting starts, but General Smith-Dorn is furious.
We will reassign the units, separating the opponent who become friendly. A truce like this should never happen again.
In the end, the men have no choice. As they're forced back into battle, peace and goodwill are once again things of the past.
By the time the war ended in 1918, little ground had been gained. The front lines were remarkably similar to those that had existed in 1914, but nearly 9 million soldiers, including about 117,000 Americans and 6 million civilians, had died in the conflict.
About 100,000 people along the Western Front are believed to have taken part in the Christmas truce of 1914. Today, the actions of those men serve as powerful reminders that, even in war, enemies can put down their weapons and extend a hand in peace.